It's quite simple. Well, Apollo?
Yes?
Try picturing the scene of the crime. In your head.
Oh, graphics.
Ooh, some HGTV graphics.
So we're going to open up this wall right here.
Knock down this wall, new floor. The murder took place in the hideout. The body of the luckless victim was found at the poker table. And before the killer swapped a card out, there was a single card with a drop of blood on it in the victim's hand. Given this, there is one decisive problem with this scene.
Well, what is it?
Let's keep it simple, shall we? Given that there was a drop of blood on a card, whose position in this diagram doesn't fit? The victims, the killers, the witnesses, the second witnesses. Whose position doesn't fit with the bloody card?
Okay.
The blood would have run down the back of the head of the victim.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say that the victim's position doesn't work.
Take that. Well, isn't it the victim's position that's the problem? I don't follow your logic here, Mr. Justice. Well, look, the victim was struck on the head, sending him back in his chair. You'd think any blood would fall behind the body, not onto the table in front of him. Ah! Take a look at the photo again. If he bled in this position, the blood would fall on the floor, not on the cards. Why, that's right! So, what does this mean?
Incidentally, we were sitting in swiveled chairs.
Swivel chairs? Oh, man.
Apollo, try turning the chair around.
This is a hell of a turnabout.
I can't believe I love the DS so much.
Features. The chair was facing the other way? It would have to be. So we have to assume that at the time of the murder, the victim's chair was facing away from the table. When Mr. Wright returned from informing the police, which way was the chair facing?
When I came back to the room, the body was facing as seen in this photo.
That would mean the killer turned the chair back around.
Let's take the next step. Look again at the diagram once more. We know the victim was facing away from the table at the time of the murder. But this creates another significant contradiction. Again? Let's test your reasoning skills again, shall we? Apollo, whose location on this diagram contradicts our new understanding of the crime?
Can you just tell me? Like, fuck, why do I have to do the logic puzzles? Fine.
The victims, the killers, the witnesses, the second witnesses. Whose location creates a contradiction if the victim is facing away?
Okay.
The killer, right? Because he was hit on the front of the forehead. You can't be hit on the front of the forehead if you're facing backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The victim was struck from the front, correct?
Indeed.
Well, wouldn't it be hard for the killer to hit him from the front? Sitting where his indicator currently is?
I would think it would be quite hard, yes. Yes, but what you're saying makes no sense.
It's like 90% of the things that Phoenix Wright says.
That's what we do here. Why would the victim suddenly turn to face the wall in the middle of a game? Because it's a hidden door. Because we already know it's a hidden door. I believe sufficient reason will soon come to light. It's a hidden door. What? There's something in this diagram that makes far less sense, actually. Look again at the diagram. Apollo, if the victim was struck while he was sitting as shown here, Where would his assailant be standing? Try marking it on the diagram. What? But
there's no room to put a mark where the killer should be.
Don't worry. Let's think it through and see what we find. We know the victim was facing toward the wall at the time of the crime. That's the only thing we know for sure. Try to forget about everything else. Like the fact there's a bookcase there.
Yeah.
Where would the killer have to be standing to strike the victim from the front? In the middle of a bookcase.
Yeah.
This is a Bethesda game, and you can clip through walls.
The killer had to be standing, well, here.
You get points for flair, but that's about all you get.
I thought it was onto something there, too.
I hardly need to point out that standing there would be impossible. The victim is facing a solid cupboard. Or are you claiming the killer climbed the cupboard and hit him from above? Ha! It's simple logic, really. If this was the only place the killer could have been standing, then that means that at the very moment of the crime...
Wait, I know! At the moment of the crime, the cupboard wasn't there! What's this now?
I mean, that's the only explanation. Right, Mr. Gavin? Your Honor, I have a suggestion for the defense. We should arrange to examine the cupboard in the hideout immediately.
Bailiff, send a team to the crime scene immediately. Have them try to move the cupboard.
Your Honor? There's one more thing your men should look for. Please give this to the bailiff.
Yes, I see. You do belong in the courtroom after all, Mr. Wright.
I do my best. But let's forge ahead here while we wait. Look at the diagram once again. It's been changed. If the killer was standing here at the time of the crime, then this cupboard wasn't here, which means... Apollo, try moving the cupboard.
Here we go. We're just gonna open this wall up.
Thank you. As you can see, the cupboard was the problem. At the time of the murder, and it has to have been shown here. Now everything is in place to reconstruct the moment of the crime. Oh my! What's this?
What is it now?
Look at the diagram of the crime scene once more. It appears we found yet another contradiction. What I believe is to be the final contradiction. In fact.
Huh? Oh, dang!
Notice something, Apollo? Our line of deduction is rapidly reaching its logical conclusion.
Now then, Mr. Justice, please point to the new contradicting indicator. Is it the victim, the killer, the witness, the second witness? Which indicator in this diagram contradicts what we know about the crime? Okay.
Well, I think it's witness 2 because...
Yeah! You're correct! About this cupboard. Are we all okay with assuming that it was moved?
Sure, why not?
Well, if it was, something really doesn't fit. The cupboard would completely cover up the window to the stairs. Oh! That's right! Someone standing outside wouldn't be able to see in. Someone like Mr. Gavin! What did you say?
Oh? Is that the coolest defense in the West, losing his cool?
Don't expect me to play along with your little game, right?
It's only a game until someone gets killed, Mr. Gavin. And someone was, while the window to that room was blocked by a cupboard. So, Mr. Gavin, perhaps you'd like to explain to the court exactly where did you witness the crime scene from?
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Order! This is a court of law, and I will have order!
We just now received word from our investigative team at the Borscht Club. They've examined the cupboard in the hideout, Your Honor.
Oh, and what did they find?
Well, Your Honor, it turns out there is a secret passage behind it.
What?
A secret passage in a mob hideout?
Right?
Wow.
How else would the bad guy from the mob years ago get out?
Oh, bad guy. Yes, I believe I mentioned something of the sort before. This is one of the tricks to the room that many of our regulars know about.
I do remember him saying something about that, now that he mentions it.
A secret passage is a handy thing to have when you're engaged in illegal goings-on. Never know when you might need to duck away from the eyes of the law.
So the room has a secret passage. Where does it go?
The other side connects to the restaurant above. The underworld bosses could get away from the cops and enjoy a cold bowl of borscht, no doubt. Just like our killer.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun. You see where our line of simple deductive reasoning has led us, Apollo?
I see it, but I don't believe it. That girl wasn't kidding when she said I needed this trump card for the last hand. At the time of the murder, the window was blocked and the victim's hat was only off his head for the few minutes between Mr. Smith's murder and Mr. Wright's return from calling the cops. In other words, the only place anyone could have seen the victim's bald head was from inside the hideout. Well, Mr. Gavin, come on, say something. Dare I ask what really happened that night?
I hope someone will tell us.
I hope so, yeah, right? Actually, I think we can probably figure it out ourselves at this point. That night, for whatever reason, our killer had a date with Mr. Smith. A date with destiny. There he crouched, hidden in the secret passageway behind the cupboard. Holding his breath, waiting for just the right moment. Then the chance came, and he took it.
I think our killer probably could have stood at his full height in that passageway.
Right?
I don't think he crouches.
Miss Olga Orley was out cold, struck by Mr. Smith. But his time was soon to come. Mr. Wright went upstairs to call the cops, leaving Mr. Shoddy Smith alone in the hideout with the unconscious dealer. Then our killer stepped out from the secret passage and into the hideout.
The victim must have heard the cupboard sliding aside.
He wheeled his chair around to look, and
after the deed was done, the criminal must have seen the blood on the card. He would have, of course, realized the need to destroy the evidence. That single spot of blood would have told the whole story of the crime.
Too bad for him he didn't linger any longer in the hideout that night. If he had, he might have noticed the cards on the floor. And the fact that they were all red.
I'm obsessed with his hair.
good. Well, it seems this trial has taken yet another turn. I'm truly sorry I had to see this day come, Mr. Gavin. Mr. Gavin. Mr. Payne!
Yes, Your Honor.
The prosecution will continue its investigation. As for Mr. Phoenix Wright, defendant, he is hereby cleared of all suspicion. Believe me when I say that I don't believe this is happening, Mr. Gavin. But I'm afraid circumstances call for me to issue a warrant for your arrest immediately. Objection! Oh, no need to apologize. I rather enjoyed myself. It's not every day you get to witness a legendary attorney's dirty tactics firsthand. Your point, Mr. Gavin? Frankly, Your Honor, I don't give a damn. Sorry. Frankly, Your Honor, I'm shocked that a person of your caliber would be taken in by such a low-grade parlor trick. Excuse me? The defendant is cleared of all suspicion. This is hardly the time for jokes, Your Honor. Mr. Wright hasn't proven anyone's guilt or innocence here. What he has done is use illegal evidence to put the blame on someone else. And not just anyone else, but me, his own defense attorney. Illegal evidence?
Let me ask you, Mr. Gavin. Is there still any reason at present to suspect me of wrongdoing?
Of course. This bottle, for instance. The bottle of grape juice Mr. Wright was drinking. How do you intend to explain away the fingerprints on the murder weapon? And not just any fingerprints. Am I right, Mr. Payne?
Actually, yes. The fingerprints on the bottle were, upside down.
I seem to recall this being an issue earlier. The court and this case demand an explanation. I can think of only one reason why one would hold a bottle upside down.
I can think of 12.
And that is to hit someone with the bottom of the bottle. Well, Your Honor.
See how the caught fish squirms to the last? Well, Apollo?
Yes.
Your boss seems awfully concerned about this bottle still. But I'm sure you can come up with a suitable explanation. Just like that.
Yeah. Just like what? Why would anyone grab a bottle upside down other than to...
Don't let him trick you into thinking his explanation is the only legitimate one.
He's trying to gaslight Apollo again.
He's very good at it.
Yeah, he's a manipulate mansplainer.
He's a manipulate mansplain.
Oh, God, what's the other one?
What is the third one?
Manipulate murder? No, it's not murder.
It's not murder, but it is now.
Oh, well. Is there really another?
Male wife.
Male wife. Well, he's not really great at that. Anyway.
No. Take another look at the court record.
All right.
I believe you'll find a simple answer there, in plain sight.
How about you just say the answer in plain words?
I'm with you, Apollo.
It wouldn't be hasty to deliver a verdict with unanswered questions, indeed. Well, Mr. Justice, Mr. Gavin said that the court in this case demand an explanation. Don't worry. Justice won't leave until justice is done.
Oh, I think I know what it is.
Okay, let's take a look.
In the photo of the dinner.
Yeah.
Can we go to the dinner photo, please? They're in a case, and you have to grab them upside down to take them out of the case.
There you go. You got it before I could even give you a hint. Of course you did, because you're
I've
smart.
had to do that.
Yeah. Perhaps the defense would care to enlighten the court. What evidence do you have to explain why the fingerprints on the bottle are upside down? Okay, we just did this, so
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
It's actually easier to show you than explain, Your Honor. Place that bottle on the floor next to your chair. Excuse me? On the floor? Yes, now reach down and pick it up. Without getting out of your chair.
Ah.
See? You naturally go to pick up the bottle by its neck. With your fingers upside down. Look at this picture taken on the night of the murder.
Oh, no.
The defendant, Mr. Wright, sat here, playing piano, bottles of grape juice on the floor to the side of his piano bench. He would have naturally picked up the bottles upside down several times. Wow, I can't believe it was that simple.
Recall our dinner that evening, Christoph. I was drinking my usual juice then, too.
Basically, you used the bottle on the table to do the deed. But then, you must have remembered. So you went and picked up one of the bottles from under the piano, and you switched the bottles. You took one of Mr. Wright's bottles and made it look like the murder weapon.
And that's why there's no card inside the bottle.
Et voila. It was that easy.
It's a different... I was thinking it was a different bottle. I mean, there's a ton of grape juice bottles in that place.
Right? Order! 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 What do you have to say to these charges, Mr. Gavin? Huh. Fascinating. So this is the legendary attorney's famed tactic of misdirection. What? You claim that I switched the bottle. Where is your proof? Proof? Well, that's... As I thought, more baseless conjecture. I'm afraid your bottle of proof is quite empty.
Wow. Great pun. I wouldn't be so sure about that. Your Honor, when you initiated the investigation of the hideout earlier, do you recall I requested an additional investigation?
Ah, yes, I have your memo about that here. Retrieve the bottles from under the piano at the Borscht Bowl Club. And here's one of the bottles in question. What are you going to dust that for fingerprints too? I would be surprised if any were on that but his. Mr. Gavin probably wouldn't make such a novice mistake, true. That bottle won't bear a trace of anything.
Say, Apollo.
Yes?
Why don't you go ahead and examine that bottle?
But why?
Just humor me.
Mr. Wright.
That bottle will solve this case once and for all.
What? That's some bottle. All right. Here we go. Oh my god.
Oh. What's that?
There's something inside the bottle. Incredible. Oh, we're going to look at it. Is this your card?
How did you get that out of the bottle?
Right? He just kind of shoved his finger in there and like waited for it to grab part of the edge.
And pulled very gently.
Just like, ugh. What's this? That card. It can't be.
Recall that unpleasant woman's testimony for a moment.
Miss Olga Orley?
Yes, our little swindling... Ooh.
Devochka?
Divochka.
That night, I planted the card like I was supposed to, and Wright lost the last hand just like he was supposed to. Then Smith searched him, but the planted card was gone. The trap failed. Oh, wait, this isn't... You're telling me that this is the planted card you disposed of? The one you mentioned in this piece of testimony?
I happened to put my hand in my pocket and found a card. Yes, I snuck a peek at it and found it was the 5 of hearts. I had a feeling something might happen, so I disposed of the card before the game.
Disposed where?
There was an empty bottle of grape juice I had been drinking right beside me. I threw the card inside the bottle. The 5 of hearts. This is the card. The bottles were swapped. And the only one who could have done that was the 4th person in the club that night. You, Mr. Christoph Gavin.
Oh, there he goes.
It is lobster.
It is a lobster. Everyone is stunned.
That is all.
I thought it was you walking through the door. Sorry.
I know, that's what I was thinking.
Is this your idea of revenge, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Revenge? Revenge for the offense that took away your attorney's badge 7 years ago.
My past is like my logic, straight and true. No. Your logic is terrible. Nothing's changed. All I did was point the finger of justice in the proper direction.
Why do I feel like a puppet all of a sudden?
You've been thoroughly manipulated.
Fine. I'm glad we could have this little tete-a-tete, right?
This is insane. What about me? Don't I get to prosecute anyone?
I believe this time we've finally come to the end of our trial. Mr. Payne, do you have a report for us on Christoph Gavin?
He's admitted everything. We're processing his arrest now.
I see. Still, one has to wonder why he would do such a thing. He didn't even have a connection to the victim, did he?
None that we know of.
Mr. Wright, have you anything to add?
I'm afraid I can't shed any more light on the matter.
About this victim, Mr. Shoddy Smith, his occupation was listed as traveler. An odd profession to be sure, and that's all we know about him.
I'll arrange a follow-up investigation, Your Honor.
Good. Mr. Wright?
Yes?
7 years, and you still haven't lost your touch.
Christoph Gavin was a man with much significance for me, both as a friend and as a lawyer. A lot in those.
That's very weighted.
A lot.
Oh boy. I love relationships like that though.
Oh.
Oh, very toxic. I love it. He was extremely talented, to be sure.
I needed 2 things before I could confront him. The first was a place where no injustice would be tolerated, this courtroom. The second was a man who would tolerate no injustice. In other words, a defense attorney. You, Apollo.
Is it because of my name? Like, you could have hired somebody else. I'm just saying. Me?
This is a dark time for our legal system. Yeah. A twisting of justice brought on by our very own initial trial system. We have to set it right.
Phoenix, right? Mm-hmm. Get it, Mr. Right?
Our work lies ahead of us, and I, for one, am looking forward to it. You're not a lawyer.
Well, this seems like a good time to announce a verdict. Who's ready for a verdict, everyone? Say hey!
Hey!
The court finds the defendant, Mr. Phoenix Wright, not guilty.
Oh, I love that pixelated confetti.
Right?
I love that.
That happens every time you get a verdict.
Oh, incredible.
Court is adjourned. All right, we did it. First trial. Woo!
We won. April 20th, 4:28 p.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3.
Shit, we missed 4:20 by 8 minutes.
It's still 4:20.
It's 4:20 on 4:20. Come on.
Yeah. Thanks, Apollo. You came through, just like I thought you would.
I'm pretty sure I didn't do a thing in there. It was you who cornered Mr. Gap, the killer.
I couldn't have done it by myself.
Well, you are disbarred, so yeah.
You sent it too today, didn't you? Your ability?
Ability?
Yes, a sensitivity I lack. You'll come to understand it soon enough.
How the fuck do you know about this? Like, I wonder if he means the fucking Sharingan shit where everything went all topsy-turvy. That was weird as shit. I'm about to go get my eyes checked.
Yeah, you need to go to the optometrist now, and then a neurologist.
I know. I just know this boy has, like, intense migraines.
And then maybe also just go eat a banana.
Yeah, he needs some fucking vitamins.
You know this boy is not getting his vitamins.
He's just going and doing the vibe shit. Okay. What was that, Mr. Wright?
You'll have to find the answer to that question yourself. You are the most unhelpful man.
Yeah, what the fuck, dude? Answer, right. Today was full of questions without answers, most of them about Mr. Gavin.
He's a murderer. What possible reason could he have to commit murder? Perhaps you'll learn that in the days to come.
You could just tell me, dude, you could just say, I did all that for you. Like, you owe me. Like, he's not gonna pay me for your defense, so, like, who the fuck is gonna pay me? Wait, you don't know, do you?
This locket is the key.
Huh? Oh, that reminds me that I met the girl whose picture is in your locket. You know, your daughter. Your daughter, right?
That's right, she's my daughter. You know, you were right about this locket. I took this off the neck the night he died. But it looks like our dear Russian scam artist saw me. So the truth is, this locket really did belong to him. That's so creepy.
That's perjury! You just perjured yourself. You testified! You said that locket was yours! The fuck, Mr. Wright? God.
I said no such thing, actually.
Oh my god. I have to get the stenographer involved. Fuck. Huh?
I merely said that it was a locket with my daughter's picture inside.
Oh my god. Fucking lawyers!
I love this. This is great. A subtle distinction, but a distinction nonetheless.
I knew you would love this.
I love that. And it's the truth.
Wait, but then why? Why was the victim wearing a locket with a picture of your daughter inside it?
Sometimes the straightest path to the truth isn't the best one. Give it time. No. Phoenix, no.
Oh.
You're still just getting started with your career.
Speaking of which, I may be out of a job. I worked for Gavin's law offices, after all. I still can't believe I just saw Mr. Gavin get led away in handcuffs.
Apollo,
Yes?
how about coming to work for me? You're not a lawyer.
You mean at the Wright & Co. law offices? I mean, there's not a single attorney in my generation that doesn't know it.
I can't imagine that to be true, but...
Wait, but didn't you... You're not a...
Oh, I turned in my badge, yes. I'm not an attorney anymore.
That incident 7 years ago. That legendary trial. And at the middle of it all was one man. Phoenix Wright. The case reached its sad conclusion, and he left law for good. Have you ever thought about coming back to the courts?
I'm not qualified to stand in a court of law, I'm afraid. Didn't you notice in today's trial? There was a single piece of forged evidence.
Forged evidence? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about evidence that shouldn't have existed. A naughty magician's trick. Yeah, the card was a fake.
One piece of evidence struck me as odd, it's true. It just seemed, well, too perfect. I'll bet this was the forged evidence. Yeah,
was it the little girl who gave you an ace in the hallway?
Just don't take fucking evidence from little strange girls who come up to you. Like, come on. You mean this, don't you? I got this from your daughter, Mr. Wright.
Yes, that card couldn't have been found at the crime scene. Why? Because the killer took it with him when he left, leaving the wrong card in its place, luckily for us.
The court can't accept this evidence, it's a fraud.
Yes. A fraud? How can you be so sure?
Yeah.
I would think only the real person could claim it was a fraud would be the one who took the real card from the crime scene, the real killer. Ah. My verdict was already handed down 7 years ago.
Then you really...
Yes, I forged this card. One look at the crime scene should have told you it wasn't real.
But you can't do something like that and call yourself an attorney.
He doesn't.
You're right.
Who's calling themselves an attorney, Apollo?
So it's true. The rumor is true. 7 years ago.
None of that matters much now, does it?
I punched him.
What? It's your story from here on out, Apollo. Perhaps I can help you turn the next page. My office's address, if you... Drop in, if you like.
You just, almost risked my fucking brand new, shiny badge. What the fuck is wrong with you, Mr. Wright? Mr. Wright.
Oh, about your uppercut. Try yelling, "Take that!" next time. I find it packs a little more punch.
You don't get to nag me on my fucking punch.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Fuck you.
I do if it sucks. I do if you didn't keep your wrist straight.
Jesus Christ, I don't keep anything straight.
Oh, my God. Oh, for the record, if you're going to throw a punch, please do actually keep your wrist straight or you'll fracture.
Yeah, you will actually hurt yourself.
And Apollo, thanks for today. I had a good time.
You were accused of murder! Oh my God. I hate it here. And with that, Mr. Wright walked out the door. What an asshole. That's how my first trial ended. A lot of mysteries went unsolved. And at the time, I had no idea they were all related.
Really?
Every mystery that day, connected by a single thread of logic. I'd find that out soon enough. My name is Apollo Justice, attorney at law. And this is how my story begins. End of case 1!
The end. Yay! We did one whole case.
We did one whole case!
Oh.
So what are your thoughts so far?
Great. Okay, so number 1, I still love Christoph Gavin. I know that he's a convicted murderer. I'm in love with him.
I'm not surprised.
I don't care that he's a murderer. Number 2, I hope Apollo gets like a teeny bit smarter. I know this is to help the audience keep up with the trials, but he's got I'm worried about his short-term memory. Number 3, as someone who legitimately does not know what happened 7 years ago because I've only played 90 minutes of the first game tipsy, very, very like also confused by the 7 years ago references are great. And I'm like, are we love this?
So this is not something that was shown at all yet. So
great.
This will be shown in like the last case when we go in like a little flashback. So you will find out eventually. You're not supposed to know what happened.
Okay, I love that. I always love on the stand when we get the outfit reveal for the true outfit, or the when we break the witness and it does something else. That's fun. But it's a fun game. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to start Turnabout Corner next time. I hope you guys look forward to it.